on, guys? Welcome back. I'd like to first say welcome to all the new subscribers. I know a lot of you guys came over from Street Speed 717 Mike's channel, and I appreciate you guys. Also, welcome back to all my existing subscribers. I appreciate you guys too. You know, speaking of Mike, that was pretty cool that he gave me a shout out on there. I thought I'd send him an antler because I didn't think anybody else had sent one before. I've never seen one on there, and I've watched his channel for a long time, but thought that was pretty cool. I had mentioned in there that, you know, it'd be a good piece to just lay around now that he's got his new house. Otherwise it'd be good for the bulldogs to chew on a little bit, and I see he popped a little clip in there, one of the bulldogs, so that was really cool. I like Mike. If you guys, if any of you guys haven't seen his channel and you like car stuff, I think he's got one of the best channels on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below, but Street Speed 717, he's a good dude. Today, you can see I'm kind of out and about on the land. I haven't been out much lately. The weather's been really bad. We had really cold temperatures at the beginning of this month of January. I mean, it was like highs in the minus degrees. You know, some days the high was like minus 18, 15, and the lows were in the minus 30s Fahrenheit, so really cold. And then we got a bunch of snow earlier this week, real wet, heavy snow. It warmed up and snowed a bunch. So today I'm kind of walking on crust. Yesterday was like 45 degrees. Today it's supposed to be a little above 30. It's still cool right now, so there's pretty good crust, but there's not much harder than walking on crusty snow. Those of you who've done it, you know what I mean. Luckily it's only, you know, 6-8 inches deep right now, so it's not that bad. If you had to walk through a couple feet of crust, it would be just killer, I bet. But today I'm gonna kind of do a couple things. One, I've got to pull down a couple trail cameras. I've got a couple that I've not checked since November, beginning of November, so they're probably dead batteries. I'm gonna go get those and then swap batteries out and put them up somewhere, you know, a little more accessible or a little more highly traveled area. And also I'm gonna kind of, as I'm doing that, I'm gonna kind of recap my season, or this past season. Kind of go through the 2017 deer hunting season and give you guys some insight on what went wrong, what was good, you know, and kind of come up with some plans for this next season. So we'll get going here. The wind's blowing a little bit. I apologize for the wind noise. Beautiful day though. It's sunny, just gorgeous, and I haven't been out in the woods much, so it's going to be awesome. But let's get going here. We'll get moving and get working towards the cameras, and then I'll catch up with you guys in a minute and talk a little bit about the season a little bit more. Well, I'm just about to start this grind here, but before I do, I just wanted to I've been thinking about what my season meant to me this year, and to me it was kind of a season of missed opportunities. To be honest about it, it was you know, all on me. It was missed opportunities on my part. Still had a great season, had fun, enjoyed it. You know, definitely don't want to say it was a bummer. It was fun. I enjoyed just getting out in the woods and doing some hunting and, you know, kind of relaxing and you know, clearing the mind. But definitely a season of missed opportunities. And the first reason that I can think of is because I just didn't hunt enough. I had other things going on early in the year, and, you know, just kind of didn't make it a priority to get out. And so I never even really hunted until the rut swung around, till like the very end of October or first week in November, which, you know, there was some opportunity there, especially looking at trail cameras. I didn't run my trail cameras early enough, and you know, there were definitely some deer around that were shooters, and I just, you know, me not running trail cameras early like I normally do, and then not hunting at all early, really kind of hindered me in my quest for getting a good deer. But yeah, that's my first thing. I'm going to keep on moving here. I've got a couple more things here that I can think of that were, you know, go along the lines of missed opportunities, and then we'll kind of talk about some of those deer that I missed and messed up on. So I'm going to start grinding up this hill. I'll probably be out of breath for a while. This is the biggest hill that I've got to walk on the property, and it's, you know, it might not look bad on camera. It was pretty steep. You kind of slip and slide a little bit, and you know, around here it's probably average for hill size, but I know out west and out east you guys have a lot bigger hills, but this guy gets me sweaty usually. So I'm gonna take my time, head up here. Like I said, beautiful day. Snow's crunchy, but it's just gorgeous. And I'm seeing quite a few deer tracks. I'll spin you around. This isn't really a heavily used trail, but you know, this has a bunch of fresh tracks. It just snowed on Monday. Today is Saturday. And then we had, you know, a bunch of melt yesterday. So these tracks were obviously from last night probably, or this morning, or late yesterday. Usually there's some good rubs in this area. I actually saw, I think it was this tree. Oh no, it's over here. There's a monster tree. I'll show you guys that. It was rubbed on a couple years ago, and actually it's probably been 4 or so years now. But the tree was just huge. You know, for what I've seen anyways. I've seen some big rubs around, but this was the biggest one. This tree right here, you can see where it was hit before. To give you a scale, I mean, there's my hand. Yeah, look at this. It was just hooked into, you know, ripped up a little bit. I came right after it was fresh that day, and it was pretty awesome. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I'd like to see what deer it was. Not saying it was some huge deer, but you know, he certainly would have had to get his rack around there. It looked like brow tines dug in and ripped it up. But yeah, well, I'm gonna get grinding up this hill and we'll catch up with you guys in a minute. I've got one camera right up on top, and then the other camera I want to get to, and I'm not sure if I'll have time, is way around the other side of the farm. So with this snow, I may leave that one today and drive around there and get it from that side. I do have access from over there, so I might do that. It's just a little bit harder walking than I thought, but I'm gonna grind this hill and get up to the top, and we'll snag that first camera. Well, I'm about halfway up this ridge, and you can see there are some fairly fresh beds here they've been using. And the other thing about this spot is I'm kind of on a point. It's not a big point, but every one of these little points that run off this main ridge has beds on it. There's one just to my east here, kind of over my shoulder right now, that's just loaded with beds. It comes out, it's kind of a steep point, and then there's little shelves in it, and every one of those shelves has loads of beds on it. You know, you hear that and everybody talks about it, but it really is a thing. It seems like in these hilly areas, these deer prefer to bed out on these points. They can really, you know, see well, and they're protected, and you know, the wind works good for them, and you know, depending on which way the wind's blowing, we'll tell you which one of these points they'll prefer, you know, based on how they lay out and which way the wind comes from. But well, I'm stopped here to catch my breath, and I was looking at these beds. I'll talk about the next part of this past season. That's the deer that I had an opportunity on, or could have potentially had an opportunity. I alluded to it a little bit a minute ago, but there were definitely 2 deer for sure that were frequenting the property that I just either blew it or didn't know about. And you know, due to my lack of hunting and preparation, mostly I just didn't know they were there until it was too late. They were already either harvested or you know, pretty close to it. But the first one here is this 12 point, and I mentioned it in one of the other episodes a few episodes back, but this was a good looking deer, and I was not running cameras early enough, and so when I found out about this deer was when the neighbor, who was actually a really good friend of mine, neighboring landowner, and you know, real good buddy. So I'm really happy for him. I don't feel bad about this one at all. But he ended up harvesting this 12 point, and real unique deer. Both ends of the main beams curved down. Just a good looking solid deer. And you know, he ended up harvesting him. I went to help him retrieve the deer. And when I did that, I pulled the camera, which was real close to the property line, and sure enough, that deer was on there all over the couple days before he harvested him, which was actually right in front of one of my stands that I was meaning to hunt and just never got out to. And then subsequently, you know, as the season went on, I kept pulling cameras around the property, and that deer had showed up before he harvested, you know, all over the property. So really good deer. Definitely would have been, you know, my best deer. Just a nice looking solid buck, and you know, I'm real happy for him, like I said. But that's the first one I missed out on, and you know, no regrets on that. I couldn't think of a more deserving person than the neighbor, so that's good. But the second deer here is this guy, and this deer was a stud of a deer. It looked like to me, real unique. I kind of like those unique deer. You know, kind of had that really giant brow tine. I think I showed him before too, but he's another one. I picked him up, and I actually did get a chance to try to hunt him a little bit, but by the time I sat, I think he was already harvested. They harvested him right at the end of October, like Halloween, I think, and I started hunting him like right around Halloween. So He was harvested just on a property, maybe you know, a couple 300 yards or so from where my stand that one of my stands, my closest stand, and the one that I sat probably the most on one of our food plots. So I think I had a play on him. Had I gotten my things together a little bit earlier and gotten after him, I think I could have had an opportunity. I was kind of waiting till, you know, the beginning of November, but since he was showing up a little earlier, I should have moved more cameras around and tried to get a pattern on him about where he was going and where he was coming from. I certainly could have popped up another stand or ground blind and went after him. But yeah, those are the two big misses there for me. We did have a bunch of other nice deer running around, a lot of 3-year-olds that, you know, look really good for next year, so we'll see. But I'm gonna continue up the hill here and think about one more. I've got one more major thing that I kind of missed on this year, and I've already touched on a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit and then go into the plans for next season. So I'm gonna finish this hill out and pull this camera. We'll go up there and check it out. Well, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm feeling pretty good about shed season. This up here is what it was like a few years ago. I found a bunch of sheds in this stuff, but it's all these crabapple trees. I think that's what they are. Everybody kind of said that's what they look like anyways. You see these little tiny shriveled up appleberry looking things on them. But the deer are just hammering them. Hopefully they continue to do so until, you know, for another month or so. I'll be in business with sheds if so, because this is where I found some real nice ones a few years ago. And last year I struck out up here. I just don't think the deer were in these trees at all. Not sure if they didn't produce enough berries or what the deal was, or it was the winter was not as harsh or whatever, but they're hitting them this year. The tracks are just ridiculous. So I'm feeling good about it. I think we're gonna be in business for sheds up here. It's a kind of a decent sized patch, but once the snow drops, I should be finding something, I think. I can't wait for shed season. I'm like amped up about it right now. I'm hoping to bring you guys a lot of good shed hunting and find some good stuff this year. But I'm gonna spin around, and here's this camera. You might recognize it. I put a mock scrape here earlier in the season, and then they ended up taking it over, the deer did. And it worked pretty well. I got quite a few decent pictures off it, but I'm gonna pull this thing down today. I have no idea. This is what I'm talking about. It's the old Cuddy back Capture IR, one of their first infrared cameras, I think. I got it in like 08 probably. We'll see what it looks like, if it's dead or not. Yeah, looks to be dead. So we'll shut it off and take it home and see what we got on there. If there's something good, I'll show you guys. But we'll see. I'm not holding my breath since it was over in scrape. There was really no activity on it anymore. But while I'm here, then I'll talk about the last thing, and it's something that's directly related to this spot even, but it's food plots. This past year I just dropped the ball and did not touch the food plots, and they were just no good. You know, no production, no forage quality, they were just bad plots. You know, just weeds and grass. We did try to keep them mowed down a little bit so that they didn't get, you know, full of brush and stuff, but this year, now, that said, I guess they didn't keep the deer around, and during hunting season and, you know, all through the fall, I guess, there was just no attractant quality to them, or very little, so that the deer were running all over, you know, the deer that primarily live in this piece or right in here. Instead of coming in here to eat, they were going out to the neighboring properties. And, you know, that's certainly how, I mean, it adds to them, you know, being harvested on other properties. You know, even if they lived in here, bedded in here, they'd go out to the fields to eat and stuff, and you know, wouldn't make it back. So this year, for sure, I've said it before, but this is definitely, you know, I've got a fire under me this year. It's gonna happen. All these food plots are gonna get reworked and planted into some good stuff. I'm gonna try to make it so that they're really good attractants, you know, early in the season as well as late season, by planting different things at different times. So it's gonna be good. I'd also like to expand on some of these. You know, this is a little bitty micro plot here, and you know, there's another one that's just slightly bigger that way, and then down there I've got one that's quite a bit bigger just in this part of the farm. So I wouldn't mind connecting them. I think it'd be cool. It'd make an L shape. Probably be you know, several acres total then, maybe 4 or 5 acres. I think that'd be really cool. You know, you could have plant sections of stuff in them. So I might try to do that. We do have the heavy equipment to do it. So, and there's just some small brush. It's not like there's a bunch of big trees to take down. So we could get up here and get it cleaned out pretty easily and get it worked up. But that's on the docket. Even if I don't get it expanded, I really want to get them all planted good and, you know, really get some attractant this year. That was like the main, I think one of the main reasons this past year that there was lack of success hunting wise is, you know, just the food plots didn't exist. But I'm gonna pull this camera down. We're gonna head back towards the Jeep. It is getting a little late and I do have to get back. My wife works this afternoon, so I'm on kid duty. So I don't have enough time to make it to the other trail camera today, but we'll grab that one coming up. I'll take you guys with and we can pull that and see what's going on. But let's get going now. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but that there is a big old coyote track. That is something that I am gonna get out and do here very soon. I picked up a snow camo ghillie suit this past year, so I'm kind of excited to try that thing out. But I love to predator hunt. I'm gonna get the collar out one of these days and get down here and see if I can get something. I've never harvested any on here, and I know it won't really put a dent in the predator numbers, but it'd be fun to shoot one nonetheless. So I'm gonna get out here real soon. I'll bring you guys with me when I do that. I've been noticing a lot of coyote tracks. It seems like once it gets towards spring, the later in the winter it gets, the more tracks I see. So I don't know if they kind of move in towards the end of the season or if they're just always here and I don't notice the tracks earlier in the winter, but definitely a bunch now. So I'm going to get down here real soon, do some calling, see if I can whack one or two. That would be awesome. Well, we made it out, guys. Not gonna lie, every step was a struggle in there. That crust is just tough to walk in, but as you can see, made it out to the Jeep. Got that one camera. We were half successful today. I wanted to get both, but the other one's gonna have to just wait. I'll bring you guys with when I do go get it. But just to recap, you know, on this 2017 season, I had a good season. You know, just didn't harvest any deer, but that's the way it works sometimes. And then as far as, you know, things to do differently, one, get the trail cameras out or keep them out. Normally I do, and this year was just too late, which led me to missing out on some deer. That was the second thing. You know, I didn't capitalize on a couple opportunities of some good deer that were around. Didn't hunt them because I didn't know they were there due to my trail cams, or didn't have a setup ready for them. And third, food plots. You know, make sure to get those food plots in, for me anyways. Not telling anybody else what to do, but I need to get food plots in. You know, that's the one thing we're missing on this property. It's primarily wooded. The neighboring properties are big ag fields and stuff, so if I can keep the deer on there just a little bit longer and delay them going out to the ag fields, you know, that helps. So got to get the food plots in. But I'm looking forward to this year. I've got action items and it's going to be awesome. I'm pumped up. I've got new drive to get those things done. I've got some other surprises and things. I know I alluded to building a box blind, so I think I'm going to try that. I hope to. Anyways, if I find the time here, now would be the time to do it this winter in the garage. Got an update coming, probably the next video on this thing. Caused me some problems, some headaches already. Big major pain, but what can you expect for the price? So I got something on that. I've got a couple other things in the works. I guess I've talked to a few people about, you know, for videos coming up. And then also got something new in the garage. You guys might like something brand new, well, new to me that you haven't seen yet. So that should be pretty cool. So that'll be coming up in a video too. I'll reveal that. It's kind of a big deal, but all right. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me, each and every one of you, and hope everybody's having a good winter so far. Expect the videos to keep rolling now. I'm back, and you know, I'll keep stuff coming. I got a lot of things to do, like I just said, so it's going to be good. Let's get this channel growing and you know, keep it rolling here. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys soon.